we're busting myths about Ramptech ramps. ABS surface is slippery. The ABS plastic riding surface that's on Ramptech's ramps actually has a little bit of a texture to it, and it gives you just the right amount of friction that actually feels really good when skating on it, that isn't too grippy and not too slippery. It's actually a little bit more grippy than common skate surfaces such as skate light, ramp armor, gator skins, etc. So the culprit in the situation where you think it's too slick is most likely dirt or dust. Now, dirt and dust can be in all types of environments. Whether it be a warehouse, a garage, or just outdoor, you're gonna find dust and dirt. Dust and dirt can even commonly cake up on your wheels and transfer onto the surface of the ramp. People who believe in this myth probably are dealing with dust and dirt getting on the ABS plastic riding surface. So to test this theory out, I actually have a bag of flour. This ought to be fun. I'm gonna throw it onto the surface and see what it's like skating it. Flour is really, really fine, so it's gonna feel like a lot of dust all over the surface. Oh no, oh. Spread it around, super fine and dusty. I am probably going to die skating this. Crazy. Like even with all of this flour on here, all of this dust, it didn't even really make that big of a difference. So I guess that means this texture really holds up. If you do find that your surface is a bit too slippery, here's how you can keep this sucker clean. First and foremost, get yourself a broom and sweep the sucker down. That's gonna get most of your dust off. And if you don't have a broom, you can just use a dry rag, which is especially easy if it's a smaller ramp like this 2-foot quarter pipe. And then to top it off, just get you a wet rag or a spray bottle and a dry rag, and make sure you get the ramp nice and wet so all that remaining little bits of dust can get stuck to your rag. Wipe that sucker down. Boom, let it dry for a couple minutes and it's ready to skate. Masonite will work as a ramp surface. It was actually a common practice in the 80s to use Masonite to surface ramps, but it did not last for very long. I've actually got a piece sitting right over here. It's made like cardboard. Masonite will rapidly deteriorate indoors or outdoors, but especially if it gets wet. I actually use this stuff as like a ground barrier when working on projects like painting and stuff like that. And just look at all this damage. It's super warped, frayed, discolored, and flimsy. It also will break super easily. Yeah, you can't do that with ramp armor or ABS plastic, but you can do it with cardboard. If I were to use this on a ramp, it would need to be replaced constantly. It's also a pain to get screws into this thing without them breaking through. It's so weak that when you go to drill it in, half the time, the head of the screw is just gonna puncture right through it. So if you mess up several times, the whole sheet is wasted. History has proven that this surface is a thing of the past. Over the decades, with breakthrough innovations in technology, we have way better surfaces and different types of surfaces now that are available. The only positive aspect of Masonite is that it's cheaper than anything else out there. But not only is it cheaper in cost, but it's cheaper in quality. You'll save yourself a lot of money in the long run if you get the proper materials and not Masonite. You'll have to keep spending money on Masonite over and over and over again, replacing it constantly, when another surface like ABS could last you years and years and years. Phenolic surfaces such as skate light and ramp armor should be on all skate-at-home ramps. In a perfect world, these types of surfaces would be readily available and affordable, but that just isn't the case. Originally, Ramptech did have skate light on all of their skate-at-home ramps, but that did not fly for long. The price of having phenolic surfaces on all of Ramptech's ramps was huge, and it simply just added an unnecessary burden on customers' wallets. They then started working with ABS plastic surfaces, and this decision ultimately proved to be the best way to go. ABS plastics is more durable than traditional plywood, but at the same time, it was more cost-effective and not nearly as expensive as phenolic surfaces. It's basically a win-win for everyone. Robots. That's right, robots make every part of Ramptech ramps. Some people might have misconceptions about the term CNC driven and assume that we have fully automated robotic production of all of Ramptech's materials. That's just simply not the case. What it actually refers to is our CNC machine. What it does is it precision cuts the ABS plastic surfaces, the side panels, and the top panel. It provides a level of precision that humans just cannot do. But this process is always supervised and controlled by humans to make sure everything and every cut goes smoothly. But still, most tasks are done by human hands in Ramptech's shop. Lumber is cut on a standard chop saw, and a table saw is used to bevel the bottom of the ABS panels. The boxes are also loaded and taped by humans. These tasks are done by hand in a wood shop with skilled guys. There are no robots at Ramptech yet. Steel plates are always needed at the bottom of quarter pipes. Don't get me wrong, steel plates do have their place in the skateboarding industry, but not always. At a local skate park where there's a ton of traffic and the ramps can really take a beating, steel plates can definitely be useful. But for a skate-at-home ramp, you want something that's durable, reliable, lightweight, and cost-effective. And that is where Ramptech's ABS plastic surface comes into play. The ABS surface panels are super strong, and there's actually no need for a steel plate at the bottom. They've been precision cut at the bottom for a nice, smooth transition from the floor into the ramp. This not only helps with cost, but it also makes it easier to transport your ramp while maintaining its strength and integrity. Ramptech ramps will always move or slide around when skated. This is a bit of a yes and a no. Ramptech ramps will slide depending on the surface that you place them. But on most practical surfaces, they're not gonna budge. On a really slick surface, you're gonna risk the ramp sliding. But on most concrete surfaces, there's enough friction to keep the ramp from shifting whenever you put your weight on it. Take these floors, for example. These are painted concrete floors. And even on something this smooth, you don't really get a whole lot of sliding. If you do find that your ramp is on too slick of a surface, there are a few options. You can back it up against a wall, you can back it up against a curb. Any sort of solid object that's gonna keep it from shifting always works. Last but not least, you can just take a bag, fill it with some dirt, sand, or water, and plop it on the rear bottom 2x4, and that should help a ton. Regular untreated birch plywood is totally fine for outdoor use. Almost 40 years ago, Ramptech began its journey in pioneering the skate ramp industry. And since then, it has successfully modernized it many times. Plywood surfaces are old news with all the splintering, the swelling, the rotting, the broken edges, all of that stuff. They simply just can't handle the weather and should not be used outdoors. With our modern ABS plastic surfaces, skate light, and ramp armor, those problems are in the past. Many competitors often use it for side panels and for the top surfaces. Ramptech's quarter pipes and half pipes use phenolic laminated panels, as well as painted edges that keep water outside of the interior parts of the wood. Untreated regular framing lumber is not for exterior use as well. Competitors often use untreated framing lumber, which has virtually no protection from water damage. Ramptech uses ACQ treated framing lumber for all of its half pipes. This treatment helps preserve the wood and also protect it from the outdoor elements. Without treating wood, it just simply does not hold up, leaving your ramp with a severely limited lifetime. Whereas a Ramptech ramp, when properly taken care of, could have a 10+ year lifetime.